So now some active diagramming I want to do with the rib cage and torso region, maybe the top of the pelvis. So I'll just start to create some ideas. We can do an active diagram to give you some help and ideas of how to do this when you start to put all this, together. So we can think about a rib cage here. Start out with a very simple kind of box and move over to kind of a pelvis and have it maybe twist back a little bit, maybe over to the side. So something just very quick, not looking for any kind of detail, just looking to get a sense of what maybe I could do with the gesture of the whole thing. Maybe the head would be lower, something like this in the composition. Through here, maybe coming out, maybe this is going to be tilted maybe even further downward, like so, bringing this over and in. Leg could be here, but I'm just looking at the rib cage and the torso and the pelvic, maybe the top pelvic girdle a little bit, so there's an idea there. We could come up with just some lines and clean up a little bit, just to see what could happen here. And maybe, like if we were in the back, maybe bent, so maybe a little bending and twisting, maybe coming around this way. Maybe coming in through the head might be up here, maybe looking out like that, and then back, leaning way back over and through here, torso, rib cage kind of region, just to give me an idea. Through here, that might be interesting. This leg could be way pushed back. Try not to give yourself too long. Don't get too drawn out in it. No pun intended. So maybe this could go way back this way. So it seems like I'm wanting to do kind of a 3/4 tilted front or back. You can see that kind of happening. So I have a box in through here, then kind of a pelvic area. So I may twist it a little bit towards the viewer now. That might help, just getting that into play, getting all this into play, and through here, the bottom, rib cage, and through here and over. This seems pretty, this might be interesting. Nothing, maybe the head's here and it could be turned away from us a little bit like that, flattened out, turned away. The arm might be down, so both arms might be flayed out like that to open up their pectoral a little bit. I kind of like that idea. And then the rectus abdominis would be coming here to connect to the tubercle here. That would show us the serratus anterior maybe coming in through here, and then the lats coming in a little bit like that. That might be fun to see, maybe. This might be twisted here, getting a little turned and through. I think that's probably my winner, right? And through there. So let me spend just a few more minutes getting this idea now a little bit quicker. So this would really stretch the rectus abdominis here, then bring it over to the tubercle. And through here, then we'd get the obliques roughly in through. And something like that. This might crush downward. A bit more forward setting. Buttock maybe right in through here. So this would get really squeezed. This oblique right in through here and over. Pectoral could sit on. If it's female, it might have this for a breast form. Coming out 45, you might have this really stretching over the pectoral, so that might be interesting to do. And then we have the side of the head in through here. Very rough. It's okay. Kind of like this idea working. Maybe that leg is going to be out later on through here. This leg could come maybe more towards us a little bit through here.
All right, I think that's going to be the winner. So I'm going to take this idea now. So we've got our winner. So let me go in a little bit. We'll pull in on that a little bit. There we go. And we'll take on this as a diagram to show you this idea.
I haven't done one with the torso in the rib cage region, so I'm going to conceive of this as more kind of a female form with the head turned away, and we've got the rib cage here at about the costal cartilage change. 10th would be down here, 10th would be over in through here more so. Breast forms we'll put on a little bit later, and then we'll have a flayed figure. Obviously it's anatomical exploration, so we'll have the rectus abdominis, navel roughly kind of in pulling into here, turning around and over with that'll show us the nice area of the oblique here, and then it will give us a real strong view of that pelvic crest coming down. I might even add maybe a little bit of the leg coming through, right in through here. The top sartorius would come on down, and then rectus femoris would be lower. So like about like actually right in through, roughly right in through there. So we get this idea. Oblique now sitting on the crest, in through here and up and over. We can see that really crashing into here. So that would really cause a lot of stress. This could even go lower. We can make that even more dramatic. So I'm getting this idea just in terms of design, right here against this coming over. So that can play off very nicely too as well. Just getting a good idea in through there, and then the glutes coming around trochanter, glute coming around in through here, wrapping, and then getting it come back, and then the leg would be back in through. Maybe not coming at us, but maybe just go ahead and go down, something like that. Not worried about that. All right, so I think that's our winning idea, or my idea for this lesson, for this video. And we'll get started now on this idea, and we'll diagram it a little bit. So you can do this all the time. It's a great exercise and you can follow this one, and then once you get comfortable with it a little bit further, then you can do your own. But you've got to be comfortable with gesture and volume and ideas with the figure too. That's going to help tremendously. All right, let's go on now to take with this idea. I'll pop it up in the next screen, and we'll now make a diagram from it. Okay, let's go on. Now we're going to work with an active diagram and work with the torso and the rib cage and pelvic region. So we have a kind of a leaning over figure. So this was created from the gesture I've just popped up. So let's get started with it. So working sweepingly now, going from that small gesture to something very large. Let's feel this gesture over and across now. So what I'm seeing now with mine, I'm going to kind of delineate here where we've got the end of the ribcage sternum is, and with the xiphoid bone could come out through here. So I'll just kind of begin to indicate that through here. Now as we're coming back, we see that this is going to come in and under, and so where the sternum would be in here and underneath. So what we can do now just is to create a sense of that box. So it's in 3/4, so we're seeing this come across, okay, like this, coming across into here about 3/4, and we're going to go back in this direction for our figure referencing. So this box is going to be arched, but we can generally say, and I'll keep it light, roughly in through here, okay, pushing in that direction, and now back down towards and down, leaning downward, trending slightly downward, like so, and through here of now our rib cage. All right, so we have that box moving. Okay, so now we want to say now that's curving, so we can feel this now from the end of the sternum here. Now go back and start to attach the xiphoid process, just gently on in through here, and we know this starts to come on down. So this distance here is roughly this distance here. So let's work now on that elongated tube coming through rib cage. We're intercostal cartilage, right, coming on down. Okay, we feel that now in through here and over. Okay, we're feeling that attach We'll keep it very soft and blunt for a while as we feel our way through this form. Rib cage coming up. Now the end of the opening of the rib cage at the top here, where the clavicles would be roughly in through here, coming up. We wouldn't see that underneath there, so it'd be covered up and through here. So we won't draw everything, but we'll start to draw a little bit more what we see too, so we don't get too confused. We have a little sternum coming out in through here at the 10th or 7th, and on over, down and through, and that's going to disappear back underneath. So what we're going to get here is this feeling here, okay? This feeling here. Of course, we've got the 11th, roughly, coming in through, and the 12th down and through here. Now we're going to feel now this spine coming through here, okay? So we've got the spine working like so, pushing in through here. Remember, that's a tube, okay? So we've got the cervical direction. The thoracic direction might start to change a little bit, arch a little bit, even as it's coming down. So this arch, I'll start to change in through here, and it would work right in through here at 12, roughly. 12 would be maybe right in through here. So we're going to get kind of an axis for a nice ellipse, okay, for the end of our thoracic vertebrae, and just as it starts to curve for our lumbar vertebral area as well. So we can start to cut this through a little bit, getting larger and bigger as they come downward. Okay, so we're going to come in through here. I'm going to start to sculpt this as I draw this, sculpting and drawing through here. We'll come back in, narrow this down now, get out of this box a little bit, start to narrow this down and over, feeling of the ribs coming through over to the rib cage, okay, in on over to the thoracic area, and then up through. Now the cervical area we would see going in this direction and over, twisting over in through here, and maybe wind up in through here with the neck a little bit, because we've got that head now. We can get a feeling of the head maybe slightly in this position with maybe the neck here. Can you see that? Coming through the back of the head, the occipital region of the head. Then that neck would get lost in through and come up through here, and then we get the side plane of the head with a little bit. Now the mandible jaw coming through and over. So we'd see that starting to lean over a bit. Right. Now we'll come on down here. As the rib cage here opens up a little bit, we can see the opening of that. We'll come on down. We'll keep reaching down with our gesture. So that design line is important here as we come on through. And what we're going to wind up with, we want to start to feel where, okay, the oblique would be oblique, but most importantly where our pelvis would be situated in through here, hanging and hugging about right in through here. So let's get a region of that we can start to settle in on. So I'm going to conceive of this one, this pelvic area, as more a bowl. The back bowl area, the open bowl area, because we're going to twist this lumbar in through here, roughly, because it's going to connect up to the sacrum, roughly in through here, coming around the ilium through here, okay, coming on down and moving through the superior aspect of the crests, roughly in through here, coming around, so you can see the bowl emerging, the pubic tubercle ending roughly right in through here. The superior crest, I'll just start to mark, just keep it really light and gentle. I'll start to mark in through here the superior crest now. So that means that these will be here, coming here. We'll keep our pelvis relatively simple, not as complex as the real thing, but we have drawn the real thing so that we can conceive of it stronger here. Here, so it's really turning, we're twisting now So the rib cage is pointed, this is important, this way. And so we're getting a twisting now of the model in our mind, even more so than maybe what I have on my gesture, so I can play around with that. And we're going to twist it now and move in this direction even further. Kind of come in this direction. All right, so we have that, and that'll be enough there. Now the sacrum will come over. Okay, come on down right here. We get our crests. This might come in a little bit quicker and over. Got our crest in through there. Come in down to the inferior aspect. Remember that. Right, the inferior aspect where the rectus femoris attaches to. This is where the tensor fascia lata and also the sartorius are connected in that area to the superior part of it, and then on down to the tubercle in perspective here. Okay, and then the acetabular would be right underneath, roughly like this. We'll keep that gentle. We won't see that much out through here, and then we start to get that nice sacral bowl through here, the sacrum and through here, and over and over. I'll just kind of mark this downward trend of all that. Okay, coming through and over this bowl, wider, then starts to narrow up and through. Okay, coming on over. Then the cartilage tubercle here. All right, we see that. Here's our center now. Look how our center has changed. We're all the way over here, and then we're back over in this direction. So we have that now, and that's why it's important to be able to draw the skeleton generally and relatively from out of your imagination, and you could put anything on it. Okay, so we have that now, and I'll draw just a little bit of the foramen, the ischium here, and the foramen, just a little bit at 45. Not too much emerging, maybe just no more probably than that. As a matter of fact, they may come out to the ischium in the back, the ischial tubercle, where we would see what the biceps femoris and the semitendinous and membranous generally connect up as well through there. So now we could get maybe a little bit of leg coming down. Instead of having it maybe foreshortened, I'll just kind of continue this direction here with my gesture, and maybe this will be here. And I'm not going to go into the legs after just this. This will be enough. Ball and socket joint, the acetabulum, due to the head of the femur, downward trending right to the neck, into here, greater trochanter up and over, and that's all. Down to the neck, because we've got other problems to worry about. Running through here and over, lesser trochanter there. Then we're on our merry way, aren't we? All right, so let's come on back and join the group in through here. So let's work on the rib cage now a little bit further in through here. So that's going to come over in through here. So they're going to come down, and they're going to come through here, right? And they're going to come back on up and attach on up in through to the inside here. So if we could kind of just see an area where they would attach up and through here, that's where the spinal, each disc would be, right, in through here. And then of course we'd see the transverse process and the spinous process and transverse processes on the side, but we don't need to get anywhere near that kind of complex. So we have the 11th roughly over here, and then the little 12th here, kind of like T-Rex hands. Same thing over here, but we really won't see that too much. Okay, so we're doing well with that. Now let's bring the xiphoid bone over a little bit. Excuse me. Now the rib cage, we're going to keep going here. This is going to turn over. These bones will turn through, and we're going to come over in this direction. Okay, still keeping our head intact through here, the bones in through here of the thoracic area, coming on over to the cervical area and up into and through to the neck. Later on will be up over and through there. Now we won't see the clavicle. It'll be underneath and through here, coming around and over. We might catch a little bit If it's coming around and underneath, bicycling or horning the horn of it out and through there, we might see just this area on the model, right at the end of it, where the acromion process is in the back and it goes out towards the scapula. Now the carotid process we might see as a little dot or a circle here, and then we could certainly possibly see now the glenoid cavity right in through there. We could see that there. Now we could transfer this over in perspective a little, just to feel it over there, all the way across in perspective, 3/4 perspective, in through here and over, just to feel it. But we really don't need to as much, but it would probably wind up being, I'll show you probably roughly in through here. Glenoid process, we see the back side of that carotid process, and we certainly wouldn't see the clavicle in through here, especially as we put on more muscles later on as we develop in through here. So let's build now off of this some musculature. So we know that, and maybe we could use a little bit of gesture of the arm too, right? So the humerus will take the ball out. Maybe we'll come this way, just a little bit out with it. So we have that socket of the ball, the humerus, would be right in through here. We'd feel it in through here and feel that tubercle now coming up and over and through here, and it'd start to work its way out this way and out. And we'll just leave it kind of at that, like so, and then we'll get over here now and come down, and maybe this arm would come, maybe we want to come up this way too a little bit. Maybe it would be like this in general. So we see this movement coming through here, and we'll just leave that. It's about all we need for that length for now. So we're working pretty well, and this would come over. We might see the brow in through here, and then the zygomatic arch as we come to the temporal bone and throughout this area. Ear popping in through here, and then maybe bring the cheek all the way down and over. And that's where we kind of start to see the head kind of emerge. Occipital region in the back, down and through. In the cervical region now, we'll have to change because that head would be back and through here. So notice how we stayed flexible. We have to stay flexible to that. Coming through. And there we go. Putting that on more correctly is always good. All right, so I'll take a swig of coffee here. Get energized. So this takes a lot of work, a lot of labor and effort, but it pays off, the knowledge that you've acquired that you can practice through here. Notice I'm not drawing every rib bone or every costal. I'm going to make this a little bit more accurate. The costal cartilage will come out, do this further, okay? Get this thickness in through here, okay? And then twist over and down, and then definitely disappear on us over and through here. This will jut underneath. So this is kind of running around and over like a tube in through here. This heading out, larger thickness, and it comes on down like so, and then ends and then runs right around and back on in. Now we can start to put on now the pectorals. So remember now the pectorals are 1 through 6. We don't see 1. We know 7 is here, so about 6-ish is to here, a little bit lower than where the tendinous parts of the rectus abdominis. So we know that pectoral on that thoracic medial area of the sternum in through here, and it's on the medial part of the clavicle, but that's turning in, right? So what's going to happen in this view? This is going to bulge up a little bit here, okay, the pectoral, like so, and it's going to automatically start to get pushed way on over, right? Pushed way on it, stretching on over to that tubercle, out, way out through here, right? Getting and pushing over, right? And then underneath too as well, coming from the clavicular part, right? Remember that? So we've got that working now for us really nicely. So coming on in through here, we've got this part underneath working for us. I'm going to put a nason of the skull. A little bit of that too. That's going to be nice to see right in through there. We might even get an under arch of that zygomatic area too as well. So that's going to be important coming through. I could maybe just keep on going with the mandible right in through. Right in through there. How about that? That looks better, doesn't it? It's even more bone-like. This tends to come this way before it does. It comes over to the arch and through there. So we have that now. And so we can start to pull this pectoral beautifully over, really stretching on this, hanging out on this tubercle, probably be a little bit hidden from where we have it. In through here, okay? So this paper size, all these diagrams are big. In Europe, they call it, well, this is bigger than A2, because I've learned through mentoring, I have some European students and beyond how it's different from American, but this is, for us in the US through inches, is 24 by 36. So that's pretty big. So the camera's out a lot wider. So we have that stretching over nicely. We're probably going to get some bulking here now of these muscles. Now the deltoid would come over here, okay, underneath and over a little bit and attach in through there, okay. So we're getting the delta. We haven't really talked about, since we've been doing these lectures, the deltoid yet, so I don't want to go into too much crazy detail before you're ready. So right in through there. So this is really about before the deltoid. Unless you just got it and go for it, it's good too. And it's also going to pull back in through here. Now remember, the lat, the latissimus dorsi, is going to pull up, right? And come up underneath, right in through this area. And so we're going to get this beautiful kind of back stretching as well. So this is going to feel probably like this coming up. So we're going to get this back, stretching. I'm going to try to draw the figure as if it's fairly fit and muscular, right? Without a lot of too much subcutaneous fat on it. Okay, here we go. I'll pull that bone out a little bit. So we have that now, the latissimus dorsi, and through, coming in through here now and all the way down. And we know that this is going to turn because we know it connects up, right, back in through here. So I'll just draw this gently because the oblique is going to come over it, right in through and over in through here, right? So we're going to just be careful. I'm going to give you this a little bit more of an outline. The oblique coming down and over, right in through there. So we'd see that connection. Okay, so we'll leave the lat here as the oblique now would come over it just a little bit. Now the serratus anterior, let's don't forget that. So remember, from 1 through 9 at a curved, relatively 45-degree aspect. So let's feel our way through the serratus anterior and let's get those in. So they would, on their aspect, right, come down in this direction. Yeah, remember that? The old serratus, the serratus anterior, the serratus anterior. That's terrible. Serratus anterior, how awful. Okay, remember that they're in the scapula, in the back there, right? Coming around. They're coming around. So what that's going to look like over here is going to be something like this, where the scapula are here. The other one then is going to be over here, okay? Pushing through, kind of triangular in perspective. We might have gotten a little bit over here. I'm going to leave it for now. The lat, what we're going to really get now coming through is the serratus anterior hugging, coming all the way over, okay, and wanting to come down. So we're at probably 6 here, 5, right? And so we're going to get this idea of coming in. I'm going to double check myself. I've got my écorché right next to me. just imagine standing up and kind of imagining it looking down, and that's going to give us that downward aspect. So I'm pretty close. Right in through here, those beautiful kind of fingering muscles that attach onto the ribs, 1 through 9. Okay. So here we are here. Working this out. Putting them on. Here we go, got that working through. So there's 1, 2, we're at 6, 5. Okay, so 1 through 6. Then we'll need 7. Okay. Underneath and around, so underneath here. 8, okay, roughly coming through. Pull that around there. Okay, let me get some black so we can see this. I'm using kind of an orangey sanguine and then a black and then kind of a brown tone. Okay, so you can see that in through that tubercle, that head, and through there to the glenoid process, which we got covered up. So that's 6, 7, 8, right? Coming in and over, attaching to those ribs, right through there. And then we're going to come down and now make 9. Down and curving down on through, keeping it underneath the lat, right? Okay, underneath the lat here. I'm working that pretty good now. There we go. Attaching to those ribs. So got 9 of them now, I think, working pretty good for us. So that was 6, 7, 8, and then 9 running through there. Okay, lat now and through your latissimus dorsi, right? This might even come over and overlap. Don't know for sure, but I'm going to make a very educated guess. And then attach over. Remember, going underneath that tubercle, you might even get the teres major actually up into that too. It'd be hard to tell, but underneath, either way. Like so, looks pretty good there. All right, so I might take one of my Japanese mono erasers and I wanted to erase out just a little bit of light through there so you can start to see that, and then kind of swipe it and give it a little smoother touch right in through. As we know, serratus anterior, some of my favorite looking muscles. I'm jealous because mine don't really pop out because I'm not as super fit as I used to be. Now these ribs now come more in this direction, so if we wanted to kind of indicate them through here, and they're going to come over and really curve through now, right in through here and up and over. Okay, like that, and through. That through this whole direction would be here. Of course, they're coming around, really barreling over pretty nicely. Of course, this goes strongly around like that, the xiphoid. Let me get that xiphoid a little tighter. There we go. Try and get a little bone that gets calcified that helps stabilize some of the tendons in that area. So I'm going to put on now just a little bit of the other pectoral that we would see. What we would see here, so this is down about to 6. It's going to come up. We get a little bit, maybe this side area, a little height to it, attaching in through here. And sometimes we get fit people, little feeling of this kind of bone, a little further coming through. And this is going to just take off and over. Okay. Now we're coming up under here, the tubercle. What we might get, we get this side. It's coming up over. We get this, the underneath part. You might get a little bit of this pulling over to that, okay, underneath. So we might get a little might get a little pull if you're lucky. I guess. I don't know why you'd be lucky if you got that, but you get the idea. There we go. Pulling on over, straightening, pulling on through and connecting over to the front part of the tubercle over here, and then this stretches over and through like that. So as well, these diagrams are so challenging, but a lot of fun. I find them to be a lot of fun to do, but not easy to think a lot. So they have a little deltoid here, and then you get a little probably the trapezius. If this probably right there is the true middle of the head, you get a little bit of that trapezius muscle now bulging from the back over and through here. You might get that, probably not that down, but you're not going to get that. You're going to get the lat coming through, but that gives you an indication. And then I can go further here. We can get a little bit of the mastoid process of the skull, about right in through here. You might get a little bit of the neck, the mastoid process, a little bit more of the pectoral, the above part here. Okay. You might get a little bit of that sternocleidomastoid muscle right in through there. Nason coming down and then ending. Later we'd get pretty close to the maxilla over there. Remember that racquetball kind of curvature that we get with our aspect. All right, so as we keep going, we've got pectorals. Let's work with now the rectus abdominis. So we know that we're at 5 to 7 medially, and along the nipple line, which is about roughly way up high and over. So it's about right here where my pencil is. So at 5, we're at 6 here, we're up about right in through here. And we're over generally now about running through there. So let's work this down with the linea alba white line about running through here. So what's going to happen, we're going to get this deep, beautiful kind of movement as we come down there, maybe even before that. Actually, I think we're going to go before. I'm going to take this line out, blend it out, and say, right in here's the linea alba, and we're going to start to shoot down even further and twist our way through a little bit over as we come down and attach to now that tubercle here, right in through here. So there's kind of our center for our rectus abdominis area, right in through there, coming over and attaching up in through there. So let me make that pectoral sit down a little further as it comes away from us and moves in through here. Okay, and over, through, and around, and back to the lateral side of our little cadaver here. Coming through. I'm going to turn these just a little. Here we go. And through and around. Lat coming through here. There we go. All right. So we have that. Now let's get the sides of the rectus abdominis at 7, 5, down to 7 where they attach through more aponneuroses here. Okay. You remember what the aponneuroses was. Remember the rectus abdominis muscles are sheathed. There's an interior and external parts going in different directions. The surface is what we're very much concerned with. But there's sheathing, there's aponneuroses that connects the rectus abdominis to the obliques, which are very powerful. Sheathing, ligament, tendon-like, tendon-like forms. So as we come in through here, we're going to come on down. So we're roughly at the sides of the abdominals here on the lateral part of it, up and over and through, down into the tubercle, down in through here. We're going to do the same over, coming down the side and then cresting and crashing and resting into the pubic tubercle area, down in through there. Now, about at the 10th rib over here, okay, right in through there as it goes back, pulls back into the thoracic 10, 11, 12 area. Okay. About at 10 in here in perspective. So if we bring this over, run in through here and go down a little bit, maybe just a little bit further, that's where we're going to have our navel. And to get some stretching, about running through here, so this navel will be along this linea alba, and we'll pull it out and lengthen it, bring it out, pull it out, but lengthen it a little bit. Make it kind of a donut O shape, kind of like that. So the more I've been talking to a few of my other artist friends and anatomy friend, more of an outie when we draw it like this, more flayed kind of cadaver sort of way, like so. So we have the navel right there. Now we can start to feel those muscle forms. Let me show you this line too. I'm going to think of this now as a tube. So this was a box before. Now I'm thinking of it as a tube. So watch this from here over this whole area downward. See, I can trend this over and think of this now as a tube. So I'm tubing it out, if you will, to get that sensation or feeling of coming around the form. Now we're downplay these muscles a little bit. So we've got 3 to work with to get to the navel center. And so in my basic diagram, I drew them really emphasized. They're almost kind of cartoonish. I almost don't like them, but it's the idea to get them out. But you only in very well developed bodybuilder types are going to see them bulge out that much. We're going to indicate them here, okay? And as they come up the model further, now they're connected to each other by aponneuroses, okay? And meaning that they're interconnected. They're kind of like little cubes, okay? There's space in between them. We understand that, and we see that. It's kind of that wide aponneuroses space, and the further they get up to 5 to 7, they're above, slightly overlap the rib cage. If you see that, somebody else draw it differently. Be careful, because they come up beyond the rib cage, up into here, and get 5 to 7 is where you have aponneuroses in the start of them. It would be a problem if you see them somewhere else. I used to draw them when I was a kid, when I was a student, and I would have them lower the first kind of 3 in through here. I like to think of them as 8. Some artists don't, because this bottom one here, remember this is aponneuroses, okay, in through here. I'll striate it a little bit so you can see that. You see that aponneuroses. I'll striate that. That is connective tissue, and then the last one here, roughly they're longer this way, barreling around side of this over, and I'm going to keep on coming down and attach now over to here. Okay. We'll make an issue out of that, kind of that middle section. So I'm going to make now this a little bit more distinctive. This little separation here, and a little bit less wide over here because we're in perspective. Come on down. And we know what we've got now. What's our next move? We got the obliques, right? We got the obliques. So the obliques, okay, are going to situate. Remember, they're groovy, okay? They're groovy, so they're situating in these grooves up higher. Up in through here, up in these grooves, starting, and they're going to come down, okay? Like so. And then they're going to start to bulge out in through this way. And then really, as they get bigger, they come on in and take over this spot. Now the external oblique, what we think of the bulkier part, this is now the back right in through here. This is the overlap now of the latissimus dorsi. I'm going to make it a little bulkier too, just for effect, for design. Remember design. Design's important. Right in through there. Attaching with that strand up and through and back over to the front aspect of that bone. It's beyond here, it tones over. I'll put a little bit of light over here too as well, so we see that coming through. Through here, past there, and up and through. And so what we see now with the oblique here, on this lateral side, they come on down, and they're going to attach to the rectus abdominis through the aponeuroses here. So they're attaching all of this through here. Okay, all of that they're attaching to. And over here to the tubercle, crest, the pubic area, right in through here, then up, right, and over on the outside, because of the iliopsoas is on the inside, but up right in through here now, underneath, okay, and right on this ledge, right up and over on the outside and over, right on this ledge and down. There we go. So we have that look now of the oblique. We might get a little bit of this popping through, like so. Around. Okay, get a feeling of that coming through. I say coming through a lot. Just emerging, defining. Coming around here, oblique. We don't see the serratus anterior on that side. Now we might get a little lat now. Little lat love. Right in through. I'm just going to throw it out there just in case. See what it looks like. Because I don't know until I'd see a model. But I am going to leave it in. Right there. It curls over that tubercle of the humerus and little lats right in through there. That's looking pretty good. So as I'm turning this form towards us a little bit now, okay, go back and catch my superior crest through here and over right in through here. Catch a little bit of that in a moment. So oblique now coming down. They'll be coming down this way and then getting more vertical as they come down, and then right on through here into the big one. Everybody knows this might bulk out a little bit more, like so. And you come around and over and finish up, not too far over, keeping more medial. Okay, in the back I meant, sorry. Tripped up my own self. Got right in through there. Okay. So we have the oblique in through here, coming in through, and attaching to now the aponeuroses of the rectus abdominis in through here. So we've got a nice feel of what's going on through all of that. Starting, hopefully you do. Here, over 10th rib and under. Get a nice little outline through this going. There we go. Okay. Linea all but through there. Got the end of the latissimus dorsi in through here. Maybe a little back of the neck, trapezius, just barely. Up in this region. A little deltoid in through here, deltoid coming up possibly now. Over in through here. Okay, now we're almost there. Mercifully, right? Hallelujah. Okay. So, you can start to feel this around, feel this around. Now what we can feel is a little bit of some of just the beginning of the leg muscles, right? So let's get a shape. Let's get a shape of the leg muscle in through here from the adductor, right? So we know those adductors all together, they're kind of a triangle. They'd be coming out this way, and they'd be coming out right this way. And so we get up in through here to the femoris and the vastus lateralis, and we can feel kind of our tube. And so we know that the leg might start to do this. We get our 3-finger gap where it's going to get straighter in through here, roughly, right? So that leg's got to be able to bend. Otherwise, we're in real trouble. So we'd see that. We might see this bulk for the adductors. Okay. See how that so easy that is? And well, maybe not as easy as you think, but down through all the adductors together, we group in through. This is kind of the magnus. The longest one, like so. They group over the bone and through there. And so maybe now the femur, let's get a little bit clearer on this femur, not finger, coming towards us. A little square back here. Lesser trochanter here. It's important for the iliopsoas. Over through here, just in this view, something like this. Maybe coming down. Okay, and so now what we get is the adductor here. Okay, this last one, gracilis, remember? Graceful gracilis, all this little gap in between here where the iliopsoas would be. I'm just kind of feeling my way through here. And the rest of them for now. And you're going to forget all those names. Brevis, longus, iliopsoas, pectineus, and magnus. But don't be surprised if you have to refer back to your notes because you forget them after a while. Don't be ashamed of it, for goodness sakes. My goodness, this is a lot. Sartorius. So let's get the shape first. Okay, sartorius. And the shape of that, this tube coming in through here, coming out. Now we need a little bit of the glute, don't we? Sure do. The rest of the oblique in through here. Okay. Get that to turn in through here for us, like so. Okay. Here we go. Coming on in and down. Okay. Like so. Underneath there. Alright, so now, what happens with the glute? I don't know. Who knows? Let's give up. The hell with it, right? No, let's don't do that. Okay, here we go. So, coming around. We're at the back of the pelvis because we can see through this. I love that. You're omniscient. You are omniscient. All right. So we're pulling, remember, along here, right? And all this is going to come down. Bulk out. It's going to be a little bit bulkier. Okay. Now remember the linea aspera. Remember behind the femur? That's going to pull over like this. This part of the trochanter, the greater trochanter, is going to be exposed. It likes to be exposed. There we go. And this is going to pull, right, like so. Like so, okay. I believe like so. And then attach, as we keep on coming, kind of divot in through here and around to back in that linea aspera or raw line. So we have the linea alba, which is the white line, and then we have the linea aspera, which is the rough line, back in through here. And so that buttock would keep coming around and over, right? Maybe not that deep. Let's see. So because you have to think through all this when you're inventing. So it attaches around here, comes on in through and over, and back over. It gives a little bit under the ischium, right, to give it a little bit of depth, and through and up. And so the coccygeal region Better put that in there now, about right here. The rest of it, a little bulb there would be there. So yeah, that feels decent. So we'd feel all this is now the glute right in through here, attaching right in through and over and underneath. I'm not going to draw underneath. We already confused enough. Through here. Okay. And over. Right. So we have that. Get that just kind of separated. All right. Now, what would we see over here? We might see a little glute just from this adductor. If this adductor was narrower, which I'm going to make it just so we can see it, like this, and that attaches to the linea aspera, 2 of the femur. Way over here, we might see just a little glute. Give us a little glute, because here's the middle where the crack would be. Running through there, we might see just a little bit of that glute coming through. So this would be all the adductors. I'm going to group them together. You're going to learn to group them together pretty quick and call them just the adductors. Not all the 6. It's going to drive you crazy for sure. Because I always have to go back to my notes when I give a lecture. If I don't lecture for anatomy for a while, I'm like, uh-oh. I got to go back and say, what was the name of that? Oh, that's right, brevis. Yeah, okay. Or pectineus. That's another one I forget. Because it's really not, they don't show up. They show up more as a group. That's for sure. Here and here. Get that tubercle coming out just a little bit further. Now, over and through here, and just a little buttock glute coming through. So now we can get our Roland, get our shape of our rectus now femoris, which is going to attach over to here. So let's get it going here, through, and here and down, right in through there. So it's going to come over now and attach to here, and then start to bulk. Like so. This might be a little vastus maybe, and through here because it's up underneath the trochanter, and through here. Here would be the tensor fasciae lata, our Starbucks muscle, right in through this area, and of course our sartorius is going to come over here in a moment. But we would get this kind of look. So from the rectus femoris, we'd start to see this coming on down and over, wouldn't we? Right in through. And starting in this direction. Coming on through and on down and over. Medialis and intermedialis would be underneath that, but we're not going to draw that. Medialis coming up and through and already kind of over, down. And we'll just let that go. And lateralis, maybe a touch of it here is the rectus femoris, crests up and on over. And then we get a little this, little space in between, we get the tensor fasciae lata sartorius will be coming across and making its way over, cascading this way. Full belt look now, right in through here on the inferior crest, and it's got a full kind of side lateral in the medial part though, but it's on its side as a belt. We keep on coming down like that and getting towards to the knee area, right in through there. Get those beautiful adductors, maybe a little gracilis coming through, and that'd be enough of that one. Let's come over here now and let's do this side. And so we get the adductor, but then let's get the shape first. Coming in, what will we see? We're going to see this whole area kind of bulk out a little bit, but bulky, and then start to fall down. Get a little to the side, so we might get this overlap of these muscles because we've got all the quads working for us here, and they might overlap a little bit, be on top and wider. Of course, the aspect is going to be this way or around this way. So we come in through like so. So we know that's here the gracilis. That's easy. Let's get the the sartorius working for us first. Get this over here to the crest area and through there, so we get the sartorius starting to come down like so, an inner thigh around the very top. We're looking kind of down on it now. It's a little difficult, more of a difficult look. Get the glute kind of running around, sort of some directional line in through here, and then the rectus femoris underneath now at the inferior groove here, right, coming down and over. So what's that going to look like? It's going to come down here and then start to make its way like this, start to get larger. Now the intermedialis is underneath it, but it's up here on the trochanter area. Okay, like so. So there's our rectus femoris. Down and through here, and then underneath the sartorius, through here and attaching through. Now this whole area right in through here where I'm making this brown line, that's the 3-finger gap roughly, actually maybe a little bit higher, right in through here, that we have right in through here coming down, okay? Where that leg can bend, where it gives us a bend. We want to have a bend, otherwise we're in trouble. We don't have a bend coming down. We'd be in trouble if we don't. Here, here. So rectus femoris, into here, over. Okay, and then let's get a little bit now of the medialis over. So it's attaching to the trochanter underneath here, right? Medial. And it's really going to hug around the sartorius area and through here and kind of be leaner, and work its way around and through there. This lecture's gone on longer. You're getting some leg in here too. If I haven't put you to sleep already, you're getting a little bit of leg in through. Why not? You can always use it. Okay, so now and then lastly, the lateralis over here on the side, over here attaching and then coming underneath, and we start to feel this bulk, because you wouldn't really see the tendon under here coming over. I'll kind of show you, but you're going to get this to bulk out really quickly. So this would come in, trochanter in through here to get that glute to push out. This would show a little bit. Then you get this coming through. It's getting a little sloppy now, but I can feel it as I get tired. Get a little sloppy in through there, 3-fingered gap area, intermedialis, rectus femoris, maybe a little bit more fuller. There we go. That's it. Attaching now to this area underneath the inferior part through there. Tensor fascia lata now over through here. Yeah, there's another one. Don't forget the tensor. Our Starbucks muscle. Right in through here, attaching to this area of the crest and coming on down to the trochanter top. Through here, this little banded area. Right in through. Just bring it kind of down. We're on our way, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good in through here. Comes in. Over that will come out and over. And we're feeling pretty good now. Think about what we've got. So this gracilis ends here, little subcutaneous fat, and this is the buttock. And this is assuming the genitals are off. It's male or female. We'll assume it's male, but I'll just take it. I'll take it off. We'll just take that off a little bit. So I think we've got all the parts that we've needed. Oof, that's a lot, but it was a lot. I hope you had fun with it. I had fun with it. So we started from a gesture, your own gesture, didn't we? Or my gesture, and then we built off this to a conclusive anatomical study. It takes some knowledge, but once you acquire it, you want to practice it. And this is a good way to practice it, and it's also relevant to get in front of that model and to use the model as practice. Use your diagrams, help yourself out so you can do the best job of locating all this anatomy. Deltoid, little bit of the back muscle there, trapezius, maybe splenius coming through, and through here, occipital, and then really down. Get center right about in through there. Can shave this off. We won't put a muscle here, through here, coming over underneath, and I think we're just about ready to call it. Can make it prettier. I think we've got everything we needed. Right in through here. All right, so there you go. There's a diagram now of the torso area using more active, what I call active anatomy, which is a lot of fun. It gives you, beyond the simple, anterior, posterior, lateral aspect views. You get something that gets you into real space and time a little bit, get you to see it further. I've had questions about how to practice, and this is one of them. This is partly how to do it. Okay, don't be surprised if it's rough. I've done rough ones. It takes a while. It's okay, don't worry. Keep practicing, make them look rough until they get, or make them be rough until you get, more knowledge, and you can really move on and do some great stuff later on with knowledge. Knowledge is the key here, okay? All right, so take care. I'll see you guys soon, and keep on, the mantra that I have, keep on drawing. That's the name of the game. Keep on doing your thing. All right.